Sitting here in this red CL, waiting for the batteries to charge up. Guy's coming to look at the box. Wants to see the cylinder. Wants to make sure the cylinder doesn't leak. Yeah, I guess I don't blame him. Doesn't leak, but I still gotta show him. It's about 92 degrees in the shade. No, I don't have a winter hat on. It is perforated. Air does pass through it. I just don't want to get a sunburn on my head, in case anybody wanted to know. But the nice part about this awesome CL, while I charge the batteries, I have this awesome Napa fan. Keep me cool when I'm not cool.
So breaking news, today I have to cut off a box off a truck. I saw somebody in one of my videos commented and said, why don't you put the box up for sale, recoup some money? Well, that was a really good idea. So I did that. So now, a guy came, he wants the box off this red CL. I had no intentions on using it as a dump truck. Like I told you, the frame's junk. Actually, we can take a look at the frame right now. I'm sure somebody will comment and say that they've seen much worse, which myself, I've seen much worse also. It just isn't the greatest. We have a lot of issues going on, and they're not going to get any better.
Just to give you the idea. Frame. Yeah.
So I've already started cutting off the wiring and the air line for the air tailgate, and I'll show you a thing or two about how to cut a box off without a huge amount of effort. I'm going to cut off all these guides. I'll probably leave them on there for the time being. Once the box is off, I'll chop stuff off. But I'm currently, it's got an electric auto tarp, and I told the guy that I would fish that harness along the frame up into the cab, get that out, so he's got something to work with. The guy was a super nice guy, understood what I was trying to do, and I recouped some of my money out of the truck by selling the box. Nowhere near what I have in the truck, but it's a start. Damn, this thing sounds good. This thing has been purring, and it's exciting to have a junk truck, but the motor sounds good. So stay tuned and see some little tricks of how to chop off a box in some type of efficient manner. I don't know if it's the fastest way, but it's my way. Inside the cab here, just messing around with this doghouse, I have to retrieve this wire off the auto tarp and then fish it out of the cab and tie it up to the back of the box so I don't burn it, cutting the hinge off. No big deal. Actually, what I'll probably do is I'll just take a screwdriver and undo it instead of cutting it. Yeah, it's all taped up. I don't know what's behind it, so let's make it quick and easy. wants to know why the truck is running. Well, the batteries are dead. I have this jump it every time. So, let's reach in here, grab this wire. Maybe. There was a zip tie that I couldn't see inside the cab. Maybe two. We'll see. So check that out. A couple dozen hits on each side. Rust blew right out. So I'll be able to cut her right here. I'll probably go to about this point because I don't want it to rip on me and then take the box all the way off. It's like I said, it's just to get this started because this is a rubber insulator that rests on the frame and I'd rather not mess with that with the box down. If anybody's wondering before I start cutting it, what's holding this box up, you should have the safety arm. Well, I do. The safety arm is up in case the box did come down, but I am in favor over here. I never really go in the middle because I don't want to be that guy. So I stay outside the outside frame rail just to be safe. I'm going to cut this. See how this goes. Okay, so I cut a little more than I thought I was going to. It just dawned on me as I was cutting it that it's a double frame, so I might as well just keep going and cut the outer frame. So the inner frame is still there, both sides. Just going to be a lot less cutting for me in the long run when I got the box down. So yeah, that's basically simple as that. Anybody find the irony that a Brockway torch cart is chopping up a Mack? Maybe I don't find it ironic. Anyway. So what I'm going to do now, besides drain the oil, is right here is the cylinder base. He needs that. Here is the frame of the box. So I'm going to find a piece of, looks like 2-inch channel, or 2-inch, some type of 2-inch piece of steel, whether it's flat stock or whatever. And I'm going to cut it about 6 inches and then just do some welding right here, both sides. That way, this stays in place when he mounts it on his chassis. So you don't have to worry about this cylinder
moving back and forth, or they were questioning where should it go. Basically, this is where the happy medium point is on this particular truck or frame. So in theory, it should work for the next truck. So pretty easy. Just got to reach in there somehow, and hopefully I can get that done. I can hear thunder. We're supposed to get some pretty bad weather. So that'll be my next job, amongst draining the oil and cutting off the rest of the hinge on the back. And we should be good to go. Got to beat the rain here, but as you can see, I just found some shims. Gonna weld it to this, and move on the other side, same thing, just to stabilize that cylinder so it doesn't move and it doesn't go anywhere when they install it on the next chassis. Okay, pretty happy with that. Now just got to go on the other side, repeat the process. I just grabbed some scrap that was in the garage. Obviously it was something that I built and saved some pieces. The other side does not have the same stuff. If anybody wants to know what kind of welding rod I'm using, I am using, seems to be a favorite of mine. It's, I don't know if you can read it. It's 9018 X caliber, not 6010, not 6011, not 6013. Actual structural welding, because I never know what I'm doing, whether I'm welding a bucket or welding on beams. I have no clue, so I always want to be prepared with the proper welding rod. So this is a little bit overkill, but it'll work. Actually, I'll do a new one just so it's easier to strike it. Don't want to destroy my camera, but I want to see if maybe you can see the weld that I'm doing. Nothing big, no big deal. So I just got done welding. I can hear thunder coming, so I'm probably not going to risk draining the oil out of this tank, but I got a couple bolts in the back here and on the other side that I can remove for the cylinder base, and then maybe tomorrow night it'll be a decent night to drain the oil out, remove the tank, remove the line from the pump, get everything freed up, and lift this off the chassis. So stay tuned for that. Put everything away for the night, and just in time, because it is pouring out. I don't know if you can quite tell, but it's pouring. You stand out here for 2 seconds, you're going to be soaked. Oh yeah, the rain's here, and thunder out of nowhere. Day 2 of cutting the box off. I cut the reservoir off, drained all the oil out of it. It was about 25 gallons. put that in a drum. And I got both sides cut minus these 2 bolts here. So as much as I hate to do it because you sometimes ruin a torch tip doing it, I have to gouge them out because they're stuck. On a level between 1 to stuck, they're pretty stuck. I kept getting a bigger hammer, and the bigger hammer, all it would do is mushroom the drive pin. So not a huge deal, just gotta gouge them out with a torch. Hope I don't ruin anything in the process. And it should be ready to go. I have the cylinder line draining into the catch pan. I'll cap that off so it doesn't spill oil all over the place when I start moving the box. It's just inevitable that hydraulic oil, no matter how much you drain it, there's still some left. So I'll cap that off, and this thing is going to be ready to take off the chassis. Those 2 holes here and here, you'll, as you heard the popping and sputtering and spattering on the torch, it's not a good idea to torch into a hole, because all it does is it blows the heat back, heats up the tip of the torch, never mind the torch itself, and it ruins the tip. So I got lucky. I only had to gouge them out about halfway. Now remember, this is a double frame and it's not in good shape, so I'm sure there's rust in between the rails. Never mind, you have this big hunk of metal. That's a good half-inch piece of angle iron there. So I just got lucky. I warmed up the bolt, gouged it out a little bit so it was less restriction on the bolt, and pounded it with my purse and was able to get it out. So this thing is ready to go. Just got to do that line and lift it off. So you saw me get started with the smaller forklift that we have just to get it put under some blocks, because this one would have been a little bit of a pain to do everything by itself, so because it's got pretty thick forks. So now that I got some 4x4s underneath it, just going to use this big beast here and do the rest. So here it is. This is probably the heaviest box I've ever picked up with this forklift. It did it, but you could just tell it's pretty stout. I bet this is probably a 6,000, 6,500 pound box. The forklift will pick 15,000, but you got to realize the weight distribution is just a big box. It's not like it's crowded up real close to the mast. There's just a lot of weight there. So my finishing things that I need to do is I got to cut off these guides for the guy, and then job here is complete. Man, look at that frame. Oh, that frame is beautiful. put this thing on the road tomorrow. Curious what this thing looks like now. No box on it. Wonder if it'll do a donut. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you learned a thing or two. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Sitting here in this red CO, waiting for the batteries to charge up. I can't even put the windows down when I wait. Air windows. Air throttle. 18 speed that doesn't shift. The color red. The auto tarp works. I did try that out. And the Napa fan works. The CB radio works. I guess it was worth buying. The dash doesn't work. Doesn't start. Weak batteries. The windshield isn't cracked, but it's got the million-mile smear from the window wipers. The dog is welded to the base on the hood. Then the weld broke. The frame's broke. The bumper's broke. Well, it was broke. Now it's welded back up. Don't worry, I'll think of something good about this truck.